What's going on? This is Coach Nat. Let's talk about what the fuck sustainability even really looks like. I want us to consider fast versus forever results and how this whole ass timeline has us fucked up. So we know crash diets ain't it. It's all about sustainable results now. Sustainable, sustainable, sustainable. But what the fuck does that really mean? And what the fuck does that even for real look like? So we know sustainability basically means hitting your goal and being able to sustain it long term and hitting your goal without it being fucking miserable. We know that. And yet, still, we expect sustainable results on a rushed timeline. I see it, I hear it all the fucking time. I'm not getting results. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, actually, you're crushing it. And I get it. Right? I get that goals take longer than we want them to. I get that we wish the process would happen a little faster, but this shit takes time. And I find that two things are true. Number one, our goals take way longer than what we think they're going to take. And two, time passes anyway, so might as well fucking go for it. And that's why I want to break down sustainability and give you like an actual tactical, logical look at what the fuck this buzzword is all about. So I'm going to do this in two sections. Section number one, a sustainable timeline. Section number two, habits. Now, before we get into all this, we have to set proper expectations of what a sustainable timeline looks like. Because we cannot say we want sustainable results and then try to hurry the fuck up to get them. It doesn't make sense. And before we get into that, I want you to ask yourself a question. Number one, what the fuck is your goal? And number two, how long do you think your sustainable journey is actually going to take? Take a moment, identify these two things. I'm pretty sure it's going to be longer than 6 weeks or 12 weeks or even 6 months, possibly even over a year. And on the real, based on my 20 years of coaching, here's what I see. It happens in 3 phases. Now, before I get into all the phases, first, I want us to just call out and name and identify the fact that we did not get in this bad place overnight. Here's kind of how it happened. We're going to use a tree as an analogy, okay? So this is the beginning of our goal, right? We have an idea, we have a goal, and we're putting all of our time, all of our money, all of our attention, all of our resources towards this goal. And along the journey of this goal, we start to get other little baby goals. And our resources start to go off into those little branches of all these little other baby goals that we have in mind, right? Maybe first you started with wanting to lose weight, and then it's, oh, I want to find a girlfriend. Then it's like, oh, I want to raise my credit score. And all of a sudden, all of our resources are now being splintered off into these little branches. And instead of us growing to be a big, tall tree, we end up a fucking bush. And that leads us to our first phase. This is us right now in the beginning of a phase. We're a little bush and we have low-hanging fruit. And we're going to try and pick at those low-hanging fruits. Those are going to give us our small little wins. These things are like, stop eating fast food. Stop fucking drinking so much. Stop hitting up your ex. Stop not meal prepping. Stop getting shitty sleep. These are just low-hanging fruits that give us quick wins. And those usually happen in the first 0 to 6 months. And the reason I call this phase retreat is because you stop fucking around doing the most and you retreat internally to try and start to work on yourself. The next phase is the rebuilding phase. Now, notice here, you started a bush. You had all these little low-hanging fruit to pick and you've picked them all. Now, we're going for the fruit that's up higher, that's going to take a little bit more work. This happens between 6 to 12 months. Once we've picked off those little tiny wins, what happens is we discover the root of how we got fucked up in the first place. Maybe that's a toxic job. Maybe that's a bad relationship. Maybe that's uncomfortable conversations you're not having. Maybe that's setting boundaries. Maybe that's just you going for a big move that you haven't been brave enough to go after. This is where shit gets real. This is where true transformation happens, because this is where you've picked up all the little fruit, you've had all the little wins, and now you're like, oh shit, you're the root problem. You're the big beast. I'm not. I haven't been phasing, and that's essentially why I ended up fucked up in the first place. And a lot of people quit here because this is where the real work actually happens. This is making those big, tough decisions that are going to become big transformations in your life. And that's why a lot of people fucking quit. They're like, hey, I lost 20 pounds. I got in shape. I'm good enough. Yeah, that's probably true. You probably did get healthier. You probably have better results. But you're not really at that, like, I changed my life phase. You have to get through this phase. And this usually happens in that 6 to 12 month mark. Then we get to the final phase. Okay. This is now where if you've made it here, now you're trying to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And now you've put in all that work and now you actually get to enjoy it. I call this the reintegration part of the process because you're a new person, new habits, new identity. And now it's about how to reintegrate back into the world, how to socialize, how to go on vacations, how to have guests, how to enjoy life again in a way that honors the new you. And this part usually takes 12 to 18 months. This is now like, hey, I used to be really shy and have no confidence. And now you're figuring out how to get back out there with this newfound confidence. And you get to enjoy this new part. You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is the fun part right here that unfortunately too many people give up in phase 2 to get to phase 3. So let's pause here. I want to ask you, which phase do you think you are currently in? And what do you have to do to graduate to the next phase? I'll give you a second. Now that you know which part of the journey you're in and what the fuck you have to address, fucking get after it. And I'm going to give you the next section that's going to show you how to go about it in a way that is sustainable so that you don't burn the fuck out. So as you can see, this is a fucking journey. It's not a quick little fucking weekend trip. And this is why it's important that you have sustainable habits. But what do those actually look like? I'm going to give you 3 approaches to this. The first one is do it by the days. Here's what I mean by that. Here's a week, 7 days in a week. If you go for perfection, you're trying to be perfect every single day of the week, this 100% is not it. This is not sustainable. You're going to burn the fuck out. You cannot be perfect. You're going to fuck up. It's part of the process. And holding yourself to that standard is just going to feel shitty. So do not do that. Now, people are like, hey, I'm good Monday through Friday and the weekend I get a little loosey-goosey. If you do the math, there's 7 days out of the week. And if you're on your shit 4 out of those 7 days, that's 57%. That is an F. That is not going to happen. A more sustainable approach to this is going to be going for 80%. If you are on your shit 6 out of the 7 days, that's 80% plus of the time that you are on it. This is enough for you to see results and for you not to burn out. This is personally what I go for. I personally take Saturdays off to chill out and give myself a little breather. Saturday for me is at 20% of the time that I am off. Now, warning. If you take that day off and you're 1,000% off and you fucking lay in bed, not move, fucking sit there and eat Whoppers all day, you will 1,000% fuck this up. So I am warning you, okay? Here's how I like to approach it. I take Saturdays off, and that Saturday, I am 80% off. I am 20% on. That basically means that I don't necessarily go work out that day, but I'm still going to go do something maybe active, get a nice walk in. That doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there and like eat entire fucking pizza and a Whopper and I don't know what else, fucking cookies and shit. Okay, that means that I am going to enjoy what the fuck I like, but I'm not going to sit there and give myself the itis. I find that sustainable habit strategy to be the most successful in the first phase of your journey, during the retreat part, the first 0 to 6 months where you're getting the hang of it, but you're still trying to have a little bit of fun, but like slowly move your way into this whole process. I find that approach works the best during your first 0 to 6 months. Second sustainable habit strategy, do it by meals. Here's what I mean by that. 3 meals a day for 7 days equals 21 meals a week. Okay, so these are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 80% of 21 means that 17 of these meals are on lock. And that gives you room for 4 meals out of the week that you can be a little bit more relaxed on. Okay, by relaxed, I mean maybe you don't log it. Maybe you order something that you normally wouldn't order, but you're not going to fucking eat your face off. That's kind of what I mean. And so for you, this might be like, hey, I like Taco Tuesday. It's my favorite Tuesday of the week. And Thursdays, I normally go do kickball and we go out after. And Saturday night, I like to treat myself to a nice dinner and I like to enjoy brunch on Sunday. So if I relax 4 out of the 21 meals, I am still on my shit 80% of the time. And I find this strategy to work really well during phase 2. The last sustainable habit strategy I want to give you is doing it by week. So let's say that your goal is to hit 7,000 steps a day. Multiply that by 7 days in a week. That's 49,000 steps that you have to take every week. So maybe you don't hit 7,000 steps one day, but you make up the rest of them during the week. That works too. You're still hitting your goal. Or let's talk about protein. If your goal is to hit 150 grams of protein a day, multiply that by 7, you have to hit 1,050 grams of protein a week. Because as long as at the end of the week you're totaling 1,050 grams of protein a week, you technically hit your goal. Now remember, I consider that one in advance, and I do find that that one works really well during the last phase of your journey. So let's take a little break here. Now that you've seen the 3 sustainable strategies, which one are you curious about? And which one do you think you're going to try? All right, now that you have an idea of what sustainable results look like on a sustainable timeline with sustainable habits, go out and try these. And I also want to remind you that you're not going to get it perfectly the first time. As you're going through this process, allow yourself the flexibility to tweak things, try new things, explore new things, lean into this with curiosity. I promise if you keep going at it, you're going to optimize the most sustainable way for you to go on about your goals. And finally, achieve sustainable, long-term motherfucking success. Ta-da! That is all I got for y'all. Hopefully this was helpful. I know this was helpful. I'm just curious how quickly you're going to implement this into your goals. Bye.